Hey everyone, and welcome to SkillCapped. I'm the King Live, and in today's guide, we're going to be teaching you about my favorite agent in Valorant, and that's going to be Yoru. Yoru isn't my favorite because I believe he is the best agent in the game. However, I do think he's incredibly strong in matchmaking, and it's for a couple of reasons. The first of which is he's almost never played, meaning that enemies don't know how to handle it when they play against a good Yoru. Another reason why Yoru is so strong in matchmaking though is because on defense he has the fastest rotate ability in the game, meaning that when a full push comes in as they do in matchmaking, you can always be where you need to be. And of course the last reason I love Yoru so much is because he's just so freaking fun. There's not any other agent in the game that matches the same pace that you get to experience when playing Yoru, and that's why I'm going to teach you all of my tips and tricks that I've learned over my hundreds of games of playing Yoru in Diamond and Immortal lobbies, and hopefully we can bring your game to the next level. Before we get into it though, let's introduce our question of the day, which is, do you think Yoru is weak right now, and if so, what do you think they should do to change him? I personally believe Yoru is incredibly strong in matchmaking, and I'd love to see him receive more play, at least on that side of the game, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Starting off the guide though with one of the things that sets Yoru apart from other duelists, Yoru is the king of early off angles in Valorant. Similar to Jet in many ways, looking for early picks is Yoru's bread and butter on defense. Being able to push out to aggressive locations and just disappear after getting a pick is incredible, and although the dismiss is not as instant in the case of like Reyna and Jet, if you're fast with your picks you can retreat to safety regardless of if you come out with a pick or even if they try to flush you out with utility. This is one of the things I really love about Yoru, because a lot of the times if you try to make an aggressive play like this and get flashed, it might be difficult to get to safety if you're playing a character like Reyna or Jet. If you're playing Reyna, you need to get out with the kill, and if you're playing Jet, they might just try to run you down, but if you're playing Yoru, you can literally just disappear across the map. You can use Yoru's TP as a GTFO button, and when you're in a bad spot, have it available for your Spidey getaway. This is the difference between Reyna and Jet though, and I think this is where a lot of players struggle with Yoru. You need to plan your escape preemptively with Yoru. You can't just be taking a peek without having that escape ready. This is part of the different pacing I was talking about during the intro. Yoru has a very aggressive playstyle, but it needs to be backed up with good predictions and preparation, and if you haven't done any of that preparation beforehand, you may find yourself very limited. This is shown by abilities such as his footsteps as well, which are actually incredibly helpful during post plants, but you need to have them placed in a location that is usable beforehand. An awesome tactic I love to use for his footsteps for post plants is placing them in a location like showers, and then if I have the time I will rotate back around towards short to catch the enemy off guard. In hindsight, this stuff may seem very obvious, but players are conditioned to react to these slightest audio cues in the game, and stuff like that will really throw them for a loop. Using this tactic, you can clutch out so many rounds and look like a genius while doing it. And before we move on to some other big brain tactics, if you guys haven't already, I highly suggest you head on over to SkillCapped.com and check out our hyper improvement system. We have up-to-date lineups, courses on how to improve with each agent, Smurf commentaries where a higher rank player walks you through how to carry in your rank, and so much more. Come join over 500,000 satisfied members, improve that KDA, and get the rank that you've always wanted at SkillCapped.com. Link in the description below. Moving on to our next tip when playing Yoru though, and this is going to be how to take advantage of the fastest rotatability in the game. The only thing that compares to this is Omen's ultimate, which costs 7 charges, but every single round as Yoru, if you so choose, you can use your TP as a way to preemptively prepare for a push on the site that you are nowhere near. There are lineups on every single map to send your TP all the way across towards the other side as a defender, to make sure that you are always in position to help your team as fast as possible. If you haven't seen our Yoru lineup guide, I highly recommend you check it out, but these aren't just crazy aggressive lineups, they're lineups that are meant for repositioning and putting yourself in the best spot possible to grab kills. Now obviously this is prone to being baited and fakes, however it's important to remember them because there are times in which they are incredibly useful to use. Say the round timer is counting down and the attackers have to commit to whichever site they're going to go to. You can make sure that you are always in position to go to that site, and with maps like Breeze and Icebox being added to the game, being able to rotate quickly on a map that is so incredibly large is going to be a massive benefit, and this is why you're seeing Yoru being played a lot more recently on Breeze. He can just reposition so quickly. And I think this is the biggest misunderstanding with Yoru. Many players believe his gate crash is meant to be this hyper-aggressive tool, where you try to bamboozle your opponents without them realizing, and that's just not the point of the TP. The point of the TP is to help you reposition safely to grab an advantage on your opponents. Whether this means teleporting towards cover on site while attacking, or using it as a strategic fallback to give you room to make an aggressive play, Yoru's TPs aren't meant to be a trick, it's meant to be strategic. I don't recommend trying to just teleport directly into the enemies and kill them. Unless you're red and you have incredible aim, this probably isn't the move. Instead, use it to give yourself an advantageous position, and you'll not only find yourself getting killed less, but you'll also find yourself grabbing more kills, and that's the kind of stuff we love. Moving on to Yoru's ultimate though, which when used correctly can be one of the most obnoxious ultimates in the game. The reason Yoru's ultimate is so strong is because it provides your team with a massive amount of info for free, and it's only 6 charges. On top of this, if you have a safety TP waiting for you, you can always quickly come back and regroup with your team if you don't find a position to capitalize on with the ultimate. However, if you can, what you can do with Yoru's ultimate is position yourself in a place that is safely on the other side of an enemy that your team intends to push. This makes it so the enemy now has to fight players on both fronts and is very likely to lose this battle. However, you don't even need to always find cover before canceling the ultimate, and instead can look for other signs that your enemy is defenseless and you can kill them. The time it takes to pull out your rifle as Yoru after ulting is not nearly as long as you'd think, and if an enemy is even just a little bit out of position to deal with a gunfight, you will likely have the upper hand. Examples of this are anybody who's using utility, or more importantly, operators. The operator is a fantastic weapon, however, it's a lot less effective when the players appear directly behind you. If this operator player wants to react in time, they literally have to do a 180 no-scope on you in the half a second of time that they have. Now, to do this effectively, you need to make sure you're not running close enough to them where they are alerted of your presence. But once you cancel the ultimate, if they do not react quick enough, it's literally GG. Yoru is the only agent in the game where you can quite literally just run up behind players and kill them. Now, I don't recommend doing this to riflers unless they have utility out, and I don't really recommend doing this to players unless you can actually get behind them, as it's a lot harder for them to recognize what's going on if you're behind them than if you're just to the side of them. But lastly, we need to talk about one of the most important parts of Yoru's kit, and that's his flashbang. Because of the way his flashes function, it makes Yoru play as not only one of the fastest duelists at times, but also in many ways sort of as a support. You can flash in allies from an incredibly far distance, and this is something that really makes him unique from other duelists. But not only that, the classic Yoru pop flash out of a smoke can be such an awesome engage to quickly get your team onto site, and it's something that most duelists can't do nearly as quickly. As far as duelists are concerned, Yoru probably has the cleanest pop flash in the game, and this can set you up for some really awesome plays. One amazing tip with this flash as well is because of the way it bounces, you can use this to your advantage by abusing the terrain around you and have the flash bounce to a position where it won't blind you, but it will blind the enemies. Being aware of locations you can bounce Yoru's flash off in this way will greatly increase your Yoru play, and always try to be on the lookout for the best flashes that you can perform. Lastly, remember, if you want to improve that KDA, win more gunfights, and get the rank that you've always wanted, then be sure to check out SkillCapped.com. Link in the description below. Yoru is an incredibly fun agent and super underrated right now. If it wasn't shown by version 1 picking Yoru in the final series of this recent VCT tournament, Yoru isn't nearly as bad as people think, and he does have a place in the game. And although he may not be seen as much in pro play, he still is easily capable of shining in matchmaking. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe down below. It really does help us out. And don't forget to answer our question of the day, which was, what do you think of Yoru? As always, I'm the King Live, and we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.